RuneScape has changed much in the 20 years since its initial release. Many of us long for that magical experience it provided when we first started playing. My quest is to recreate that experience by playing a time-locked Ironman. In order to progress forward in time, I'll have to experience all of the content as it is released on a month-to-month basis. My name is Kuda Bear, and welcome to Time Traveller Ironman. In May of 2001, RuneScape players saw the addition of some of the most useful and powerful items and abilities that had yet to be seen. While the magic and prayer skills had been around in some form since the beginning, both were reimagined and redesigned in this month. Magic, so far split into good magic and evil magic, was combined, and the total number of spells exploded. Not only were there new combat spells up to level 59, there were also utility spells such as teleportation, enchanting, and alchemy. Alongside these new spells came the high-level runes to power them, for now only available as monster drops. To progress, I'll need to unlock magic's new potential. Luckily, this update is when the magic spellbook very closely began to resemble the one we have today, so all of the spells will be able to be used verbatim to the benefit of my training. Prayer came alongside the magic rework. It was previously useless, but similarly split into good and evil variants. This update combined the two, and added many of the famous prayers we know today, though not all by the exact name. There were only two protection prayers at the time, Protect from Range and Paralyze Monster. Paralyze Monster did exactly what the name suggests. It prevented an NPC from retaliating. Though functionally different now, Paralyze Monster lives on in the three overhead protection prayers we have today. This means I'll need to worship my way to unlocking all of these powerful abilities. Magic and prayer weren't the only things reworked, there was also crafting. Crafting had existed in the skill menu since RuneScape's inception, but it had not been trainable until now. There were two main products added to the skill, clay and jewelry. The jewelry only existed in gold and gem varieties, including the wool spinning and gem cutting to enable them. The newly released amulets ran right up to diamond. These amulets were also enchantable via the magic rework, and thus the four basic gem enchanted amulets came to be. Finally, one minor but iconic quest was released in the spirit of the crafting skill becoming trainable, Goblin Diplomacy. I'll need to help put this goblin feud to rest. While all of these additions would go on to become some of the most defining content in RuneScape, it means I've got a massive amount of grinding ahead of me. With the methods and areas available to me, this is going to be the longest month by far. We'll have to explore everything that was possible at the time to achieve these goals, and proceed into June. Welcome to May 2001. Hello, and welcome back to the Time Traveling Ironman. It's officially May, and I am so excited to jump into all the new content that this month has to offer. So the question is really, how do I want to prioritize the things that I need to do this month? I still don't have access to a bank, so I think ordering is going to be fairly important, and I think the order that I've settled on should be pretty good. Effectively, I'm going to need about 130,000 GP in order to purchase the runes required to get 59 magic and cast Fire Blast. In order to do that, I'll have to do more mining and smithing. I still don't think I have any faster moneymakers available to me. If I have that money, I can purchase the runes and then use the magic to kill things that give me bones to help me train my prayer. Now I need a lot of bones, so that's really only going to be a small portion of what I need in order to get to 43, but I think any little bit helps. And then finally, I can clear out my inventory after completing both of those goals, and then go for the crafting goal after that. I'm definitely going to want an entirely clear inventory for the crafting goal, not even coins, as it's going to be optimized every little bit because it's going to be really slow. Alright, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and jump into May 2001. Oh, and one notable thing before I actually begin, I did go ahead and complete the Old School RuneScape Anniversary event because I wanted to wear this cape. It does kind of break the canon of this account, unfortunately, to complete a piece of content that is so far in the future. But because it's just a cosmetic and because it is 20th anniversary themed, I really wanted to wear that cape. The only other thing I held on to is the half-full wine jugs. I just wanted to show these as notable, as I would have technically had access to these, as wine was originally a 2 drink instead of 1. But I cannot get them now, and because I don't have a bank, there's not really a reason to hold on to them, so I'll just leave them on the ground. So in order to purchase all of the runes I will need for 59 magic, I'm going to need about 130,000 GP. In order to get that, I'm going to have to do about 20 hours of mining and smithing. Yeah, it's about 6k GP an hour doing this method. I swear, the game is just taunting me at this point. This is my second genie in like 2 or 3 hours. Bye. Alright, there's 46 smithing. A fairly notable level because it allows me to make steel plate legs and plate skirts. So I actually think I'm going to transition back to doing my mining and smithing at the Alcared mine, as I can take use of that shop down there instead of the shield shop. There's a couple reasons I want to do that. The plate legs and plate skirts are worth about 100 coins more per item, which is about a 20% increase, which is pretty good. Also, the plate legs and plate skirt shop restocks much faster. I actually fill up the stock at Cassidy's shop really fast, and it only destocks every 15 minutes. So I very quickly run out of the ability to sell shields, and I kind of just stop playing for a little while until it resets. Don't forget, I still only really have access to 2 worlds. And then lastly, there are actually 2 items to pick from, the plate legs and plate skirt. So that allows me to diversify even more and get even more money per item. I think all this stuff is going to outweigh the extra walking time it will take to get to the anvil. Yeah, it's incredible. They sell for 650 instead of 510. So that is going to be a lot more money. It's going to add up really quickly, even though it takes me a little longer. I do also go ahead and use this location to make closer to a full inventory of bars before heading up to the anvil, so it's more efficient to do it that way. So I'm going to have more goods to sell each time through, and the money is going to stack up quickly. I will forever forget to record these levels before they happen, but I usually remember after I get the notification, so that's cool. This is a notable level as it allows me to smith steel plate bodies, which is the most amount of money I can get per steel bar, so that'll be another nice little increase to my money per hour doing this method. However, I don't really need to do it much longer, so that'll be the last unlock that will be part of this journey at least. Oh, and if you're wondering, between the last clip and now, it's been about 8 hours of time. Amazing steel plate bodies. This was definitely a moneymaker for me back in the day. I remember making these for some GP. Those were good times. These sell for a massive 1,200 each, and I think they go down by 40, so I'm not gonna world hop for them. So that means that every inventory I do now, with the swords included, is like 4.2k, whereas before it was like 3.8, so that's a pretty nice little boost. I get so in the flow, I have no idea when these levels are coming, and I've got the experience tracker up on the side, so I've got no excuse, but that's 55 mining, which is mithril ore. However, I don't think I'll be making use of that this month. Maybe in a future month. There's not really any reason to mine and smith it until 54 smithing, which is when mithril swords become unlocked, and the money per bar I would get is more than steel, so I won't be doing that for a little while. Alright, absolutely monumentous occasion here. If I just sell these plate bodies, that is a white cash stack over 100,000 gold. We are getting really close to everything that we need in order to get the 59 magic grind out of the way. I'm going to do a couple more inventories, then I'll explain what I'm going to do. Whew, okay, selling the last batch of items now, up to 112k. And I'm actually going to stop there though it is a little bit short for the actual runes I will probably need to get up to 59 magic. And there is a reason for that I'll explain as I go and buy the things I need. So getting the money and the fire strikes required to get up to 59 magic was only part of the goal. Obviously, the other part is that I need to actually cast them on something, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to cast them on. Ideally, I wanted to be able to cast them on something that both gave bones, so that I could work towards the 43 prayer goal for this month, as well as refunded some of my runes, whether it be from drops that I can buy more runes with, or just additional runes that I can spend to get more magic experience. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to choose from to kill this month. I thought through a lot of different things, and most of the stuff that drops bones is pretty low level and therefore doesn't really have useful drops for me. A lot of the higher level stuff doesn't really drop bones. The giants are a notable exception, but they drop big bones, and I obviously can't use those yet because they're not released. I thought about killing Ice Warriors, which are a new release this month. They've got some pretty decent drops and rune drops that I could use to gain more magic experience with. However, they don't drop bones, and I think that's more important. So at the end of the day, I actually settled on White Knights. They're decently high level, they've got almost as much experience as the Ice Warriors, they've got a negative magic attack defense, and they drop a lot of runes. So I think these guys will be my target. I just need to find a good place to kill them here in the castle. This place should work. There's a couple of tables I can use to safe spot them, and there's 2 spawns in here, so that should be plenty. I also am going to be killing these guys on a free-to-play world, as it disables the seed and herb drop tables, so I'll get a little bit more useful items. All of the items that I have access to this month are free-to-play anyway, so I may as well. So this will be home for the next, I think, around 9 hours I calculated to cast all of these spells. That's assuming I don't miss any ticks, which I'm going to be missing a lot, so probably a bit more than that. This is such a pleasant change from the Ice Giant grind to be able to hit 8s. I'm killing them really fast, and they really don't have that much less HP than the Ice Giants. Just double damage is incredible. One more thing I just wanted to mention is, even though prayers are available now, the Mystic prayers didn't come out for a long time, so I don't have any reason to use any prayers for this magic grind. So I didn't realize just how many iron bars these guys drop, so I'll be able to get a little bit of smithing experience as part of this grind too. So yeah, if you're ever stuck trying to find an iron bar for Knight Sword, there you go, kill White Knights. It's like a 1 in 16. Alright, here is a pretty monumentous occasion, probably even more impactful than getting actual 59 magic, and that's 55 magic, which unlocks High Alchemy, which is amazing to have. This is actually a pretty nostalgic moment for me too, because I definitely remember going for High Alchemy as one of my first major goals after starting playing the game way back in like 2005, and I did it via fire striking just like this, though I think I crafted the runes, which is ridiculously inefficient. Unfortunately, the only source of nature runes I have is monster drops though, so I won't be able to use High Alchemy extensively for some considerable time. There isn't a shop that sells nature runes that's added for a long time from now. Alright, so I got a bit carried away again, and I did use up all of the runes. Well, I did use up the air runes. The mine runes were from drops from the knights. That got me all the way up to 58 magic, about 17k from 59, which is actually further than I was expecting from that first batch of runes. But even just with that, I'm done. Let me take you down to the pub, and I'll explain why. Here at the pub, they sell a little beer called the Wizard's Mind Bomb, and I didn't realize this existed. It actually came out with Asgarnia release. But if you drink it, it boosts your magic level by 3, well, 2 if you're under, I think, 50, 3 at my current level. So that allows me to cast Fire Blast just from that. So I'm effectively done with the magic grind. I still am going to go ahead and use up these runes. I probably won't use the body and mind runes because it's not that much experience, but the law and nature runes and chaos runes I will use. In order to use up the natures, I'll just be superheating steel bars down here in the Dwarven Mines, since that will be a pretty efficient way to use them, I think, and I'll get a little bit of smithing experience out of them. I am also going to High Alchemy the items I have just to get through them a little bit quicker and get some of that experience quicker. If there had been a renewable source of nature runes, or even the superheat item spell existing back last month, oh, that would have been incredible. I would have saved so much time on this mining and smithing money grind. But unfortunately, nature runes are really rare, as are most of the higher runes as of this month. They're all released entirely as monster drops and no other sources. And of course, the power of being able to do all of these smelting, smithing, and alcheming without leaving the Dwarven Mine is that there's actually an anvil down here, which makes this whole process way faster, not having to walk around Falador or Varrock or wherever I am. And if I go ahead and cast High Alchemy here, That's the first high alchemy on the account, which is monumentous. Such an iconic spell for the game. There's 49 smithing, which is pretty nice. I actually got a decent chunk of smithing experience from this magic grind just passively via the nature runes and the bars that I got from drops. Alright, next is to use up the chaos runes. I just went ahead and bought a couple air runes here and sold the mine and water as I don't really need them anymore. And I'm going to use them up here in the Asgarnia Ice Dungeon as it's very close. Plus I needed to kill an Ice Warrior for this month anyway, being the new highest level monster released. And wow, the Firebolt really hits hard. It's up to 12s. Magic is ridiculously overpowered, and also I realize I'm just casting in full armor and hitting this guy constantly anyway because they have no magic defense. There we go. Not too bad. They had pretty good rune drops, but unfortunately no bones, so I wasn't going to kill them for my magic training. Alright, all gone. That was pretty easy. Only 36 chaos runes, though. It gave me a decent little chunk of magic experience. I'm only 13k away from 59 anyway, so I kind of overplanned this whole magic grind, but I'm glad it's over. I'm just going to see if I can kill this guy, and then I'll be on my way. Alright, now I need to go back to Varrock, but I don't have to walk. That's right, one of the big releases this month in the magic expansion was teleporting. So now I can teleport across the map. Though law runes have the same problem as nature runes, they're really hard to come by because there's no shops that sell any right now. So unfortunately I will be really restricted in my teleports, plus I won't have any law runes for very long anyway, as you'll see later in the video. But that fully concludes the magic part of our journey. Now it's time to move on to prayer. But unfortunately this is actually where we're going to leave off May of 2001 for now. And the next part, we'll go ahead and pick up that prayer grind, and I'll show you what I have in mind to go all the way to 43 prayer. It is not going to be fun, let me give you that hint. And then on the horizon, we always still have that crafting grind too, so there's a lot left to do in May of 2001. But I hope you enjoyed the first part of this month. If you did, definitely leave me a comment, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. That's all very appreciated. Your feedback means so much to me, and I will see you in the next part. Take care, everyone.